Hey everybody, we're just cranking up the streams real quick across the platforms. Give me just a quick second here. All right, there we go. And all right. Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. I've got some fantastic, amazing people here tonight, and we're going to hear some raw talk, some real talk, maybe some vulnerable talk about leadership, some wins, some losses, and I've got some fantastic people. I'm going to bring everybody in here real quick. Let's bring them all in here. Here we go, and we got Daniel Armstrong, 605 Painting. We got Kyle, 605 Painting. We got Angel, United Painting, and we've also got Humberto from Fresh Start Paint Pros. He might be having a little issue with his microphone, but he'll work that out, and we'll find out. So you'll get to hear from every one of these guys. But what we did is we went on a leadership retreat. Well, I have to say, it was down in Cozumel. It was on the beach, and it was like almost like a vacation. It was like, work on your business in the morning, have fun, vacationing in the afternoon. And so we everybody brought their significant other, and it was absolutely amazing. And so I want you guys to hear from these guys about the leadership wake-up call that maybe they didn't expect. And I have tremendous respect for each one of these guys, and they're just fantastic people of ethics, of character, and they're driven, and honestly, they're great business people. And so I'm gonna kick us off, and would each of you guys just tell a little bit about quickly just who you are, where you're from, and just a little quick about your business, what you do. And Daniel, why don't we start with you? Then we'll go to Kyle, and we'll just kind of do clockwise here. Then Angel, then Berto.
I thought we were going to start with Angel since she has such a high eye, or he would have volunteered himself by now.
Yeah, we're gonna make him wait.
Okay, introduce myself a little bit. Daniel, 605 Painting. So I'm out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, bottom right of the state. It's the bottom part of our logo. Biggest city in the state. 6 years in business. We primarily do residential repaints, and I got my business partner here, Kyle. I'm in charge of all things production and marketing, and then he's in charge of mostly sales and assist in the marketing department as well.
Kyle.
Sweet. Yeah. Can everyone hear me okay? Just double checking. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I can hear you.
I'm Kyle Shu. I'm with 605 Painting in Sioux Falls, South Dakota as well. Represent. So yeah, Daniel's my business partner. We are primarily a residential repaint company, but thanks to the growth in contractor freedom and whatnot, we expanded our services. We're now doing some gutters and siding replacement as well too. So super excited for that. And then I'm in charge of all things sales. So currently running as the sales manager for our business. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay, wonderful. Mr. Angel.
Yeah, I'm here. The prettiest face in the team. So I'm Angel Pastrana.
You definitely have the coolest shirt.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Cool guy gave it to me, so thanks for that. So we are based in Orlando, Florida. We own a painting and renovation company out here. Pretty cool team. It's the best team that I haven't seen. They cool guys with the yellow shirts all over the Orlando area. What I do here is I think that every day I just look at the numbers of the company, and I became a manager of sales as well. So happy for that, and we're here to push the company even better this year.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Berto.
Well, what's up, guys? Long time no see.
What up?
So my name's Umberto. I own Fresh Start Paint Pros over here in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. I started my company about 2 years ago. We're now entering year 3. It's been beautiful. Started off door knocking, and we've quickly grown into one of the most popular painting companies in the city. We actually just got nominated for Best Painting Company, so that's pretty awesome. Got that news yesterday, so pretty good. Just growing every single day and pushing to be a better man, leader, father, and business owner.
So question for you guys, like 605, how long have y'all been in business?
6 years, going on 7 will be next July.
United Painting?
Around 10 years.
10
And
years. And Fresh Start?
We're now entering year 3.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. So, so let me ask you this: what prompted you? What attracted you about going to the leadership retreat? Because I mean, you had to like leave your team behind, and some of you guys left kids behind. So what prompted you to just want to even go?
It's one of our core values here at 605 Painting, continuous improvement. Just continuously leading in like crazy and wanting to learn. Yeah, it's never easy leaving the kiddos behind. But who in here has little ones? Angel, right?
Not 3
I
months.
have 2 as well.
Okay,
I
yeah.
got
Yeah, so everybody but Kyle, but yeah, it's definitely, you have to spend your time wisely, also your money. This is kind of a bang for the buck of a vacation in the midst of it. It's like the best kind of vacation for business owners, But yeah, just looking to learn.
So let me ask you this: was it really vacation?
It was my vacation. Like I feel like we have the best. I was telling my project manager earlier today. He's like, oh, we've been getting some notes here at the office. Oh, sell your business. And he's like, would you ever sell 605 Painting? I'm like, you don't get it. We love what we do. I feel like we have the best job in our city. Like I love what we do so much. So like doing this is play. This is vacation to me in a way. Like this is amazing. So to do it with palm trees around and jumping in and almost getting attacked by a stingray, yeah, I mean, I consider that vacation.
So, what, Angel, did you feel like it was a vacation too?
So I just stop me if I talk too much, as always you do. So I know you're the coach. So I look at this trip with, hey, we had to spend this amount of money to travel, and I wanted to have some vacation and time off, right? But I really took the trip not knowing any of this. I thought it was going to be another like a school kind of thing, coach kind of thing. I had some friction. I learned that in the trip, not problems, but frictions in the company that I needed me to require to learn more and open my mind for 2026. So I wanted to take off, and I wanted it to bring obviously my partner, which is my wife, and try to discover many things that we needed to discuss. We needed, to make some action, and incredible. It just got me in a way that I never thought it was going to be. Every morning was like rough, have to admit a lot of stuff. Then after that, I had to have fun, and when you combine both, you don't realize it. But I was getting to my room very happy, and I was like, man, this is a perfect thing for business owners. Who in this room? And then now we got to know each other better, right? But if we go to a dinner, and we go with families or friends, we want to talk about business. And they look at you like, man, you're crazy. Stop. You can't be you. You just have to shut your mouth. You can't do many things that you wanted to. And this trip got me like that. It was fun. I was working because I love who as a business owner would love to make a trip to a beautiful thing, be a beautiful city, be on the beach, be with friends, be with your coach, and the fact of that, be with these, beautiful persons that you can just kind of like talk each other and say, hey, I have this problem. Hey, I have this one. Hey, I have that. Hey, Jason, what do you think about? Hey, what do you think about that? And then also having an amazing time and fun. So I honestly I wasn't expecting that. It wasn't, and I told Jason this. You didn't tell me this, and I almost did not make it. I almost, what would I go to a leadership retreat in the middle of a starting of the year with my month? It was not going to be the greatest month in the business. Why would I do that? Well, that changed everything, and I love that, man. Being very honest when I'm saying this, I really, really, really loved it. I had fun. I spent time with my family. Well, not family, but with my beautiful wife. That's important too. And with these amazing people that you have right here, like I got to know Humberto, Kyle, Daniel. They were amazing, and their wives and then their spouse. I love it, and it was just great. And I'm being honest, it was a great experience.
So I appreciate you sharing all that. I mean, Berto, what about you?
Oh, wow. So they asked me how it went when I came back home, and the way I've explained it is I don't want a vacation any other way. And it's an exaggeration, but I know that that's like the truth coming from me, because I mean, you get to learn, you get to grow in the morning, and then you get to play in the afternoons and evenings, and sometimes you can skip out and work if you choose, and you're surrounded by these awesome, amazing, like-minded people, right? Like what Angel mentioned. I mean, I got to witness Daniel do a gainer, a backflip from 20 feet high into a cenote. I got to see Kyle in his element and learn so much about him and his business and be inspired by him, waking up at 5:30 in the morning and walking the walk, not talking it. And Angel, with his guidance and his mentorship and his insight, with his, long tenured experience, was awesome. Then also being next to you and learning and growing and the value you bring with your team. So my family, my wife, she was there. She got to witness me in an element, and just connecting with people that honestly are super awesome while growing and becoming better leaders for our business is, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way, sincerely.
So, we I'm going to show you guys a couple things. We got to have sunset dinners on the beach. Let's see. Hung out on the catamaran all day. Went fishing and snorkeling. Got to see like everything you could imagine. Got to see sharks. Got to see sea turtles. Got to see eels. And all kinds of crazy fish and scorpion fish and all this crazy stuff. Matter of fact, one of you guys actually did something kind of crazy. Let's see if we can watch this for a second. I'm gonna have to start this over here. Hold on. Watch this. Look. This is Daniel right here, and you know what that is right there? That's a shark, a nurse shark. Look at this. Check this out. He's down there. He touches that little shark. So there's fish everywhere. There's eels in there, and it was just, man, it was so amazing. It was a lot of fun, and we got to see such amazing things. We saw 3 sharks that day, we saw 4 sharks that day.
4.
And I've got another video of we had some really close-ups to a sea turtle, some underwater close-ups on the camera of a sea turtle. And it was fantastic. Oh, we got all those huge stingrays. We were in this area right here, with stingrays were just all around us in that area right there in the shallows.
I almost turned into Mike Tyson.
Man.
Yeah. So well, let's move along. Let me see if anybody's added any questions yet. And Daniel Thayer, bro, we missed you. Chris Bross says, what was the biggest takeaway? Chris, we're going to get to that here in just a second. And see if we got any over on this platform. Okay, so let me ask you guys a question here. And this is, look, this is not polished. This is, look, we're real, we're raw. That's one of the things I love about everybody that's in the Contractor Freedom community. They check their ego at the door because we're all on this same journey. We're not here to brag about who's got the biggest company or any of that stuff. Man, we're on this journey. We're all students. We're all hungry to learn, and we can learn something from everybody. And so we don't have these big egos at Contractor Freedom. And I just absolutely love being in the same room with people like that. So, but questions. I wanted to ask you guys a question here real quick. What's a blind spot that you didn't see, but the blind spot in your leadership, but the leadership retreat helped you see it, or you saw it while you were there? And who wants to go first?
Humberto wants to go first.
Okay.
Well, it was a blind spot. There's a few of them, right? One big thing that, as simple as it is, right? Like, other people's problems sometimes may seem small to you, but in their eyes, they're bigger than your problems. So, as simple as that is, it's something that was a perspective shift, right? Like, someone, can have a worry about, I don't know, if there's a female getting pregnant or something of that nature. And you as a business owner can be 100K in debt, but guess what? In that person's mind, their problem is definitely an issue, and you have to be compassionate towards people. Another thing that I really took away was how important clarity is for delegation, for vision painting, for just leadership in a whole, is to build clarity. And a personal one within me was just learning how to be more of a guide instead of maybe a drill sergeant, right? Because I've approached my mentality with very strict pressure, presence, and I've realized that I've had to kind of tone that down for certain people that don't learn that way. So you have to adapt your styles, right? So
Yeah.
that's pretty much my takeaway.
We some of the truths the pillars of leadership, we talked about that trust is the currency of business, and that internal trust. We talked about the lead from the heart, managed by the numbers. And so anybody else, what was a blind spot that, let's have another one. What was a blind spot that you opened your eyes to while you were there?
Nobody wants to go? I'll go then. Clarity to your people and the leadership that I will say this. We made the decision to go to this trip, right? Try to find solutions for my team. And while I was there with you guys, I noticed that I needed to get ownership on many of the things that it needed to change. And in clarity on that, I needed clarity on what the business and ownership of the things that I had to do that I didn't want to do. It was like, no, I have this person that I want him to do this. But if you, and I know one of the nights we said, don't pretend that anybody else will do what you're not doing. And many nights I spent with you guys, and one of those, it was Humberto, right? I was, thinking, and saying a lot of things and asking a lot of these questions. And then Humberto said, we were sitting there and we were having a Coke with Sprite. He was having a Sprite and I was making fun of him. And we were looking for pizza or whatever. And then I'm just gonna be honest. And I went and I said, like, hey, I'm not getting clarity. I think it's not working out for me. I already know these things. And why'd you not help me? And Humberto looked at me and I said, hey, you're not listening what people is saying to you. And I'm like, what do you mean? Of course I listen. And then he goes, no, I'm going to say it one more time. You're not listening to what people are saying to you. And that really got me, discover a lot of pain points that I was having in the company. And that was, yes, I wasn't listening. And in deep side of me, I wasn't listening of what anybody was telling me. And that was a big takeaway, not just from him. That was one of the 100 takeaways that I have. I turned back, and I was like, I remember that night I went online and researched that. What does that mean that I don't listen? I'm listening to you what you're saying. And then it turned out that I studied myself and stuff, and I needed to change. I needed to take ownership on things. I needed hey, it's not sales. Why I'm not? I know Joe came to me on in another day in the morning, and he goes, Have you done an estimate? I said, no. And how do you know that? How do you know something's not working with somebody's that you haven't even done that? So that's on the side of the ownership. I came back and I changed it. I changed the whole I will say attitude of the company, of my people, of my team. I want them to grow. But I told them, hey, here's the deal with the business in the 2026. I wouldn't say I'm sorry, but I will say I apologize for what I did. I'm burning people out. I'm gonna grab everybody on my team by the hand, and we're gonna do this together, and I'm gonna walk you through it. Because I have done this before, and I might be making mistakes for me to just kind of like acting by feelings. So we're gonna manage, and we're gonna lead by the heart, and we're gonna manage by the numbers. And I did that this week. And the whole company changed.
So what, let me ask one of you guys, what has, okay, I don't want to say, I'm not here to say anybody's a bad leader, okay? What I am here to say is that we're all growing as leaders. And thank God we're not the leader we were a year ago, and we're going to be better tomorrow than we are today. So having said that, what has poor leadership cost you in the past? Anybody else?
I'll start. And I have something kind of burning in my mind that I want to add. Good leaders not only have people that follow them, but they also have leaders that follow them. And, Jason, this entire week, a quote that Joe shared, your VP of sales, has been burned in my mind. And leadership is presence. Leadership is not perfection. And I've even shared it with a couple buddies because that is so true, right? You have to push your team, and you have to push your team at the pace that they're having to go. With that being said, I'm glad I learned the lesson so soon, but it was a costly lesson to learn. My personality style and just my life has led me to be a very fast-paced, authoritative leader. And what it did was, I had some promising talent that could have been some salesmen. And those guys were young, they were eager, they were hungry, they followed me. They were, if you can carve out the perfect salesman with potential, a little rough around the edges, that's it. And I wasn't able to polish them because of my lack of leadership. And what I did was actually diminish them to the point where, they even resented me for a moment. And I saw it show up from other people. And I was thinking, and then it became more clear and clear to me as I started really reflecting on that situation. In a week prior to which I mentioned to you, a week prior to the leadership retreat, since I realized that, I recognized that, I called him. And I said, listen, bro, I want you to understand, yeah, we all made mistakes, but as a leader, brother, if I could have 10 wills again, I'd thank God for that. I was like, you were awesome. And he was like, dude, you don't understand. Thank you so much. That really does mean a lot, because this kid was so filled with confidence, and through overcorrecting, I killed his confidence to the point where he would freeze. And this is a kid who's 6'3", state champion wrestler, high D, high I, very dominant, very social person. and his brother was like that too. But since I didn't have clarity and vision, I could have two monsters. But hey, we learned it now, and in that lesson saved me from my current project consultant. So
That's an interesting
it's been
point you bring
wonderful.
up, because look, ultimately, poor leadership, it impacts the team. Okay, the bottom line is the recipients of our bad leadership is our team and our family, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But when I've lost people before because of my bad leadership, and that's set my business back. That's cost me real money. Poor leadership.
Yeah.
And I say that, poor leadership doesn't hurt fast, it hurts eventually, and then it hurts big.
That's good.
Have you guys lost something and been able to like equate that into money? Like, hey, I ran this person off, and therefore I had to, find another person. It took me this amount of time, and I missed this much,
Few million.
sales or whatever it is.
I'd be selling a couple million guaranteed. Those guys had the potential to sell 1.5 million a year.
Wow. And finding the right people for your team is not easy, because you guys aren't just looking for warm bodies. You're looking for the right people in each role that can excel, right? So let's talk about this. Let's talk about how something that I was guilty of. I would give my best energy and effort, my mind, to my company, and I'd come home, and I wasn't a leader at home. I was a commander at home. I was a boss at home. I wasn't taking the lead and setting the right temperature in my home. Has that impacted any of you guys?
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely been a issue in my household because my high I at work. I would come into work every day, and I'd give all my passionate energy and effort to my team and my staff because I know they need it, and I'm always trying to be the motivator and the uplifter. And I would do it all day, every day. And then when I'd come home, my fiance would be so excited to see me, and she'd greet me, and she'd be excited about all these things. And it's like, she got the negative, and she's laughing right now as I'm talking about this, but she got the negative impact of me when I came home. It's like straight to the point, cut to the chase, not really given the time, energy, and effort that she deserves. So not only was this a retreat for how to be a better leader in business, but a better leader in the home. And she got to now learn a little bit more about DISC personality style and things like that. And she got really interested in who she was and what hers was, and she got interested in mine. And no, it's just really cool that now that it's all said and done, we're already seeing results with it as well too. So it's just really cool.
Man, that is great. Okay, we got a question. It doesn't. By the way, it doesn't take long to start seeing some results when your eyes are opened. When your eyes are open. Braden Smith asks, how do you get employees, salespeople, and project managers to genuinely buy into the company's vision and standards when they don't share the same financial upside as the owner without relying on constant pressure or hype? That's a great question. Okay, I'll let me field that one. Your team, your people, they're waiting on a vision that they can get behind, that they can believe in, that they can see themselves a part of. And people, money is important. That's why we go to work. But people aren't going to suffer through poor leadership, toxic work culture for the money. Not for very long. They're going to disengage. One of the things that we teach at Contractor Freedom is if we want a team we can count on, we have to become the leader that they can believe in. People want to work for an ethical company. They want to believe in their leader. They want a leader who actually follows through and does what he says he's going to do. Someone that's compassionate, someone that's competent, someone that connects and has a clear vision of the future. And so the team can say, you know what? I can see myself a part of that future. When I help this company grow and hit their goals, it's going to help me hit my goals. I'm going to flourish financially. I'm going to flourish because I get to do work that I love to do, and I get to tell the truth, and I don't have to lie to customers, and I'm not working for a boss that cheats and waters down the paint or pockets cash on the side or things like that. So when you can create that environment, then you're going to get the right people, but you've got to make a decision as a leader that, hey, here's my non-negotiables. We don't cheat. We don't treat people bad. We own our mistakes. And so we have to be ethical. So what we teach is that we need to be a leader that has a clear vision, a leader that's competent and people have to believe that you can lead them into that better future. A leader that has character, that does the right thing when nobody's looking. A leader that that takes time and is present with connection, connects with other people, and also is compassionate. Someone that actually feels and cares about them in a way that is compelled to help make their life better. And so when you can get those things, you get the right people aligned in those roles, and they're doing work that they love, it just blooms into an amazing culture. So Braden, I hope that helped answered your question. Do you guys have anything to add to that, by the way?
Just to add that, making sure that your employees match the core values of you, the business owner, and the business. I know that was a big piece that you touched on too. Like, they could do all those other things, but if they don't have the same values as you, they're just not a good fit for the business.
That's right. It's eventually going to rear its head. A values mismatch is eventually going to rear its head.
And also to add to what you said as well, is it's not about money for a lot of people. People want to feel important. People want to feel connection. They want to be in a family. So a family that's grounded, connected, heading to a place where they can grow as humans, they can grow as leaders, especially in our force. If they can grow individually while helping the company simultaneously grow, while their pockets are growing, while they're serving other people, I think you have a beautiful recipe for a good following and being a good leader.
So and that's great, by the way. Has the stress of business, okay, when we're stressed out in business, it's probably because our leadership is weak yesterday. Maybe not today, but weak yesterday. Has your leadership cost you something at home? Peace, time?
Jason, I have something big as well that just came to my mind. Okay, I was on this leadership retreat and you and I were speaking. Okay, sorry, Angel, my high DI, whatever. With that being said, I had sort of like a little revelation, and leadership is also knowing the person that you're leading and where they're best suited. So I had someone that was knocking doors for me, and they didn't thrive in that. They did decent. They didn't thrive in that. They wanted to continue following me. They wanted to continue follow the vision, but they fell out of love with door knocking. And this guy's young. He's 20 years old, and his personality style, through what I've learned with Contractor Freedom, I understood that the role in their personality style really equates to something. So I created a role for him, which Kyle and I talked about deeply, and then you and I talked about. It was operations apprentice. Well, today, 4 days in, he comes in and gives me $1 million idea. I was like, dude, that's genius, bro. I was like, let's put it into effect immediately. This is how you do it. Bing, bong, bong. Done. Because of that reason and what I've learned, yeah, I lost things for leadership, but through my constant seeking, I have rebounded and we created $1 million. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Wow. It's $1 million idea.
Hey, Kyle's going to get royalties on that $1 million idea.
Let's go, Kyle.
You know, the Angel, and we'll get you in just a second. That, you know,
not important.
We can buy people's hands with a paycheck, but only leadership earns their heart. And when you have their heart and they are people, we all have this discretionary energy, and we're sitting at work, and maybe we're thinking we're just going to do the minimum to get by and get our check. We can't wait to get home at 4:59:59. We want to clock out. and we want to get home. And our mind is there. And when the boss isn't looking, we're scrolling TikTok or watching Netflix. But when you have someone who's connected to the vision and you've earned their heart as a leader, they are now putting and directing their discretionary energy into accomplishing your vision, into getting better results. You can't buy that. You have to earn that as a leader. Trust is earned. Leadership is earned. None of that is demanded. And that's what we're on the path to do, is become better leaders for our team at work, for our company, for our families too. So, Angel, what were you gonna say?
You already said it.
No, I didn't.
So yeah, me and Jason got along very beautiful. No, what I was about to say is what you just said, for real. I swear to God, you know.
I'm a little worried if we're on the same wavelength.
Listen, don't start. I will say yes. You can buy people, you know, with a check, but you won't buy their heart. So
Yeah.
here's another one. Your team is waiting for a vision worth following.
Boom.
Why did
That's
I
right.
say that? And I'm going to say it one more time. Your team is waiting for a vision worth following. And when I came back on the trip, I opened my book and this is what I do every day. I read this.
Let's go.
And
Hey,
what
I got mine right here too.
yeah, what I did is like, yeah, I put my team together, right? We were just close, you know, I'm not bragging and anything like that. I don't think I will ever do it, never again. If I ever did, I'm sorry, I apologize. But we just hit 2.5 million last year. And I look at my team, and my team started to asking me, hey, I'm not afraid to say this in camera. Hey, they asked me for more money. Hey, I want more money. Hey, I want this. Hey, I'm not valuable enough. Hey, why I'm not important enough? Why you treat this person here better than me? Why this happened? Why? And I was like, dude, how can I fix this if I never had it before?
Yes.
And it was painful, man. You know, you start thinking like, why are they saying that to me? I dropped this plane over here. I flew this plane. I'm the pilot, right? So why these guys just get off of the plane? Why are you doing this to me? Why I have to pay you more? You're just doing your job. I'm doing everything for you. When you realize that and start thinking of, they're not doing anything wrong. They are growing as you're growing. The same people, and this is Jason Phillips. You know, I have to a little bit proud about this guy. The team that will get you here, they will not take you there. The same team they already got you here, they're not gonna take you there. It doesn't mean that you have to fire your people. It means that everybody is asking for you to grow because they already grow. You took them here, and if everybody will stay the same, your company revenue, profit, team, it'll stay the same. You're not going to grow.
Yeah.
So I put all my team, and I had this discussion that it was really, I hope that's valuable for you guys, but I set my team down on Monday and I say, hey, here's the deal. I wanted to forecast the company, as many of you know. And Jason didn't give me the answer, by the way. But I had to force myself to do the forecast. So I forecast the company and I say, hey guys, look, and here's why your team is waiting for a vision that it will be worth following. And I say, here's the point. We're trying to grow 4.5 million in sales and revenue, and we're expecting to hit these, you know, numbers, this profit, these numbers, these teams. I need this and I need that. What about if we all get on the bus? If I see the company and the effort that you guys are doing, I can't promise you that I will pay you more with money, but I promise you that I can raise your salaries, and not even the salary, we can grow together in our mind, in our leadership,
Yeah.
and that'll pay off in less than 3 months. I say, how can we do that? buy in my vision. Where we going, you need to grow. You need to grab you're riding a horse. You need to ride it, man. I
Yeah,
can't ride it for you.
That's right. You can't own their number, and you can't
No,
grow
I
for them.
can't
You can
do it
help them
for
grow.
you. So if
Yeah.
you do that with me, then you will earn that. And you know what, Jason? Everybody stood in the office and looked at me. And in my one-on-ones and stuff, they say, hey, let's go there. When we get there, we expecting you to lead me. We expecting you to pay me more. So that's what I'm saying about the vision. They buy into the vision. They know where
Well,
we go.
you know, when you build your people, they can get better results. That's going to translate into more profit when they're adding more value and they're earning more money. It's not that you're just paying them more; it's that they're literally earning more money.
They're earning more.
And so, yeah, Angel, you showed it. We had this. This is our leadership workbook right here, and it's got like, I don't know, it's got almost 300 pages in it. And it's just packed with gold. You could study this for years, and really grow as a leader. Well, so you guys, you know, y'all brought Paige and Hallie and Stephanie and Heather. Tell me, you know, how did that work out? Are you glad you brought your girl, and is she glad that she came with you?
I'll speak up first. It was amazing having my wife there, just to see not only your wife share her side of things. I think when Rochelle went up and actually spoke, it touched the women completely, you know, differently than anybody else that was up on the stands or could have spoke. Because it's literally coming from somebody who's done it at a high level and then had to deal with somebody at such a high level too. So yeah, my wife, she set some pretty crazy goals for herself personally. And yeah, she was pretty inspired. I think that was the word of clarity thrown around a lot at this one. That was more for the business guys, but I think inspired was everybody's thing. We were just inspired to be better leaders, but to like just be better at home, be a better husband, be a better spouse, all those kinds of things. So I'm super grateful I had my wife there, and yeah, I'd love to do it again.
Beautiful. What do you guys, the rest of y'all, what's your thoughts on that? Kyle, because like a lot of times, like ladies, no, I don't want to go to a business event. That's a business event. I mean, let's be real. You bring work home, don't you?
I'm always bringing work home, and I'm always working. But yeah, no, this was super good for the fiance because she was in the midst of a career change. And she was maybe looking for a little bit of inspiration as she's looking to start her own business. So not only was it super cool that she could see more into the business of what Daniel and I are trying to build and kind of help and understand, like Daniel mentioned, Rochelle speaking into the women, it was super powerful. But yeah, she got a grasp of like, hey, this is what Kyle's doing. Here's how I can be supportive of it. And it's super amazing that all of that happened. But then it was also super inspiring for her. She broke out the workbook and she took endless amounts of notes, and she just got so much inspiration. She's super motivated, not only for her career path, but for her health as well too. So, and even our faith, like we came back and we were just talking yesterday. It's like, you know what we should do? We should start like volunteering at like nonprofits more. And it's like, there's just like a lot of internal stuff where it's like, yeah, we need to be a leader everywhere we go and everything
That's
we
right.
do. So
Boom.
it was super inspiring to see how inspired she was. So if you're going, bring the spouse. Game changing.
We know, like Berto, like Heather doesn't work in the business either, right? And so, how was the experience for her?
It was amazing. It was much more than I expected. She's seen the business and she got to understand like more of our terminology and the kind of struggles that we all face and whatnot. I think it brought an understanding to her on the importance of kind of obsessing about it to get to a certain level. But honestly, the biggest impact for her was just pushing her to grow as a person as well and becoming conscious and more aware and being put in a community of people that are on that same path. I mean, she learned from your wife and she learned from you and she learned from Joe and she learned from the rest of the women and she learned from us and she was challenged, right? So it was awesome.
You know, when I'm in those environments, I'm challenged to be a better husband, a better father, a better leader at work too. And even just, me, even though I was hosting the event, when I'm immersed in that, and that's our subject, and we're talking through these things, man, I am just personally challenged to grow as a leader. I'm not satisfied with my level of leadership. I am not satisfied.
Can I ask you a
at all.
question?
Sure.
Can I ask you a question? So, right, you've been around leaders within all walks of life, right? And it's pretty cool. But like, as the owner of Phillips Home Improvements, you've had people that work underneath you that have pretty high levels of leadership. But that may not be the same as dealing with an Angel or an Umberto or a Daniel or a Kyle or the several hundred guys you have in Contractor Freedom. So how's your transition being a leader of men to a leader of leaders been?
Well, first of all, I'm loving it. And I'll tell you this, we had our quarterly meeting for Phillips Home Improvements this afternoon, actually. And we took the whole team up to Topgolf, and we golfed, and then we had a private room. And one of the things that everybody had to share, Josiah got up there and he's like, okay, now the next thing is, we're going to take a break and want everybody to come back. And I want you to just share for 20 seconds, what's your biggest win of 2025 and what's your goal for 2026, And the team, every single person on the team shared. And I was blown away by the personal nature of so many of the things that they shared regarding their health, their weight, their relationships, the way they want to grow with God, the physical things they've been through, these private things that you wouldn't normally talk about with work people. They were sharing these amazing things. And I talked to Jennifer later, and I'm like, Jennifer, you know what that means? And she's like, yeah, we have an environment of trust. And so Jennifer and I high-fived because that right there was so that they could be vulnerable in front of the whole company. Okay, so what I didn't get to share at that meeting, I didn't get to share what my big win for 2025 was. And I'm going to tell you guys what my big win for 2025 was. That, Josiah started a few years ago as our process harmonizer. Well, last year, I promoted him to COO. And I actually delegated real authority and real responsibility to the next generation. That was a huge win for me because that's what the company needed. The company needed Josiah in that role, and it needed me to step back. The company is improving, and I guarantee you everybody's life is better at the company because I stepped back and allowed him to rise up. We already had Joe, we already had Jennifer, and we already had some other leaders, but we were missing a Josiah, what he brings to the team. And that was my big win. And here's one of the things that keeps so many business owners, that keeps their business small and keeps them in contractor prison and keeps them being the constant firefighter that can never get away from the phone in the business, is because they squeeze on to authority and they want to be in control all the time. And they can't trust and delegate, maybe because they've been burned before. And if we want to hold on to authority, our growth is going to be limited. But if we're going to raise up others and trust them and give them the responsibility and step back and let them rise, we're going to grow, they're going to grow, the team is going to grow. And so I don't know if I fully answered your question there, Humberto, but the transition there, because I've been leading leaders on my team, Joe, Jennifer, Josiah, Jorge, Olha, all of these guys, and Dustin. I've been leading leaders for years, but now leading leaders who are business owners is another aspect of that, and I absolutely love it. And here's why: because I have lived what you're going through. Okay, and I know exactly the pains that you're having. I know the growing pains, the mistakes, the stress that you carry. And that's one of the reasons that Rochelle resonates with the ladies so much, is because she's lived through what they're going through. Yes, they're having to put up with you guys. I know you're great guys, but trust me, you're a whirlwind. You're a whirlwind to your ladies. Don't lie, okay? Don't lie. You know you're a tornado, okay? And so she has lived through that. But I feel like, speaking into the lives of guys like y'all is, man, that's my zone. That is absolutely my zone. And I love what I do. I don't have to do this. I could sit back and let Phillips Home Improvements just continue to run and grow, and I could just relax and do nothing, virtually nothing. But that's not me, because I'm driven by a purpose. I'm called to a purpose, and that is to I've known since I was a teenager that I was eventually going to be a leader of leaders. And so I know what God has put me on this earth to do, and that's why I'm pursuing that with a passion. I want to give and pour into, because I wasted a lot of years, guys. I already told y'all this. I'm saying most of this for the sake of our listeners and viewers right now. I wasted a lot of years, okay, of growth, because I wanted to do everything myself because I was smart enough. I could do it. I didn't need to ask anybody for advice. Okay. And so I was closed-minded. I was constantly reinventing the wheel, and instead of getting the best wheels that were already made, and I wasn't growing. I did that for far too many years, and it cost me. Poor leadership cost me setbacks on time and money. And when I finally had this wake-up call years ago that it was all dependent on me and that I had to grow as a leader, everything changed. And again, poor leadership, like we said earlier, it's not instant. It doesn't hurt instantly, and great leadership doesn't make you bloom instantly. But it's like compound interest when you're saving for many years. It builds and it builds, and leadership it gains a momentum like a snowball going down the hill. And that snowball, you're either going to ride on top of that baby, or you're going to get under it and it's going to smash you. So that's, every time we start growing as a leader, we are making the future better for us, for our team, for our family, as long as we're intentionally making sure that we're a good leader for our family too. Yeah.
I want to add into that a little bit if I can. When a lot of people here, and I'm gonna speak. I will say this in front of you, and where you don't have to be in the same room. A lot of people might not like your way, right? A lot of people, they might not like you. They might not know you. I see a lot of things in the industry, and when I met you, where I'm going with this, I'll go straight to the point. I saw you, right? And I saw you have this incredible company, right? And we all want to buy into the money and into the things, and hey, what Jason is doing. I didn't buy into that. I bought your vision. I bought your family, your wife. You were able to keep your wife, keep your family, the way that your kids sees you, man. The way that Rochelle it's with you, the way that you treat people and your family first and God first. You can keep all that money you want, but to me, that's the real life I want to have. You should buy into people, or have it in your circle, people that it's not the revenue, because I know people that has $200 million in revenue. I don't care, and I'll tell you why I don't care. I lost my family once, and I'm not proud of that, but I am proud of I catch it soon enough. And I had to do many things. I lost family. I lost friends. I had to let go of friends that it wasn't good to me, not because it was their fault. I needed to change.
Yeah.
I needed to die and rise again.
I agree with him.
And
That's
and
true.
sometimes we do this, and it hurts so much. And you walk and you see these people that they were your best buddies, and you want to just go and hug them, but it just was not the right thing to do for you at that time. You needed a growth, change your circle, and be for your family. I almost lost my family. I did lose my family, and I want to get back a little bit on Rochelle. what your wife has put in my home, you know that. I know she told you. You don't even knew on this the communication that you guys have that I don't know. She's been working with me and many things that she didn't have to. She saw me put a hand on me and told me things that I was like, what? How do you know? And it's not about money. And then you
Yeah.
said it, and I will say this again. It's about the vision and what's the man that
Yeah.
you really wanted to become.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted to
You're
become
right.
a better dad. I wanted to become a better leader, and I wanted to become a better owner. So that's why I'm here. That's what I
Agree.
follow, and that's what I want to do.
That's wonderful. Berto, what you were going to add something to that? What were you going to add?
Yeah, so when I went, you know, you invited us to your home during the December sales boot camp, and that was the last day. And I looked at, I looked at my project consultant and I said, bro, forget the business. I'm more impressed with his family. Because you have an amazing family, and we understand everything rises on falls on leadership, and you were tasked with that. And to add to that, right, what I said at the table that other day is not only did you build your kids up to be successful, well-rounded individuals that love the home and can find harmony within their home and their parents and just be awesome stand-up citizens, from Josiah to Samantha, and get the pleasure to meet the other ones. But man, those kids were impressive. Well, adults were impressive, but like also your wife, she's a leader as well, and she chose to be a leader. And I know that was under your guidance and under your push and under her natural tendency, but man, you made it possible. So you've affected a lot of lives by choosing to become better, not just within your team, but look within my team. So leadership compounds. And I just want to say thank you for choosing to be a good man.
Well, those are very kind words, Humberto. And you know, I can't take credit for what I've got in my life, and the most valuable things in my life are my relationships. You know, I've got some wonderful things, material things in life, and hey, that's nice. That's not the real success, and you guys already know that. But the real
True.
success is the health, the love, the relationships, and really the I credit everybody stands up and a lot of people give credit to God, and I for sure want to give credit to God, but the one thing that I can take credit for is this. The Bible, Jesus taught in the Bible, build your life on the rock. And when the winds come and the rains fall, your house will not fall. Versus the guy who builds his house on the sand. I have chosen intentionally to build my life, my family, my business on the rock, to trust God, to step out in faith, and to draw a line in the sand on certain principles. And I credit God for blessing me. I just, in a way, God's not a formula, but I just simply believed what the Bible says and did it. That was my goal. I'm going to believe what God says, and I'm going to do it. And so, boom, that's what has all happened here. And I'm humbled by the people that God has put in my life. My wife, dude, I won the lottery. What did I do to deserve her? Okay, but I got the most amazing wife ever. I got the most amazing 5 children that I could ever dream of. And I've got amazing leaders at work, and my whole team, I view all my whole team as leaders. And then getting to work with you guys, man, it's a humbling experience, and I just want to give and serve all that I can. And that's why I'm compelled to become a better leader, so I can add more value. Yeah. Daniel, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, I've just been jotting my notes down throughout a lot of this, because a lot of this is like I haven't taken the time to really reflect on the trip as much. I haven't had our suitcase with my booklet actually got lost in the airport in the baggage, so it came delayed. So I didn't have my book, but I wanted to dive back into my book and reflect. But a lot of them was, I think what I was getting at here is like a lot of those things you're like, oh, I happened to do this and it happened. Well, what you were doing was you were consistently. So there's consistent and there's intention. You were consistently being intentional. And that's what I'm looking to do here in 2026. Not like a year thing. It's a little very cliche. You start a thing, you end it, but it's more like, hey, I was already doing it. I felt like I was kind of hitting my ceiling in the business or as a person. And then Cozumel helped to just shed a little bit of clarity and go, you just need to keep pushing consistently, intentionally. You will make progress. And even if it's a slightly slower progress, it's still progress. So
That's right. Slow progress is still progress. That's right.
Yeah. Slow progress.
Hey, by the way,
is
we got Conrad on with us, and we got Russell. Hey guys, thanks for joining in. By the way, for the rest of you guys, we're going a little bit overtime here, if that's okay with y'all. If everybody needs to tune out, that's fine. But we're gonna continue for just a few more minutes. But just give a shout out and say, hey, I'm here. Let us know so we know who's watching. Okay, just go ahead and chime in on whatever platform. And so Daniel, go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah. So like adding on to consistently being intentional, like I have to be way more intentional, right? I'm like giving all my efforts to the business and then coming home, I got to be way more intentional with that. Got to be way more intentional, like making it fog method stupid to read the scripture. So just setting it right there on my end table every time.
Make it easier to do the right thing. Put it in your way. That's right.
I need to. And then, like hitting my ceiling was just realizing like I am the lid to the business. Kyle and I both. Very grateful there's two of us, but like I just need to grow, keep going. And you've obviously given us some books, and going to events like this obviously helps. But yeah, it's awesome. It's really just like start doing things, right? Reading, leaders are readers. Start doing those things. Start going to the gym. Start taking care of yourself. Start doing it. Make a plan. Make a vision board. So I just moved it to next Tuesday to make a vision board because I got to be more intentional. I got to start doing it. I got to start following through. Too many times the team's like, oh, and I'll do that. And then I just don't follow through. So even at the trip, I was like, I'm going to actually send that text right now and follow through with something because I almost didn't. And I'm like, that's what it's about. Literally getting better with those little minutia things over time, consistently, so I can be the best version of myself.
We've got Zane's with us, and Nils, Hometown Painting. Sean Brady's with us. Hey guys, thanks for giving the shout out. If you guys are here, just drop your name or say hey in the comments. So, Daniel, you hit on something, is that so many times we come in as look, not all, but so many business owners are very fast-paced people. What they're not is they're not follow through, finish up, consistent people. And regardless, even if you are one of those people, business can just take over everything. There's always way more to-dos to do than you have time in the day to do them. And what we do is we come in and we make promises. Hey, we're gonna give you some incentives. Hey, we're gonna have a review. Hey, we're gonna have that conversation. Hey, I'm gonna fix this for you. We're gonna get that system. How often are those things not delayed? Not delivered on time or not delivered at all. And what happens is every time we don't deliver, we're delayed. We didn't have the meeting. We didn't have the conversation. We didn't fix the this or that. Our credibility is dropping. Click, 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 click with our leaders, or with our people. And even though we're the best intentioned, biggest hearted leaders you could imagine, when we don't follow through, we're letting our people down and we're killing our own leadership credibility. And that's one of those hidden leadership influence killers that we don't understand. And so that clarity and that follow through are absolutely important. And one of the things that I've done is, because this is me, I'm speaking to me too, guys, that the most important things, I put them on my calendar. I literally put them on my calendar. And this might surprise you, there's no other person in this world that I love more than my wife. Not my kids, they're second. My wife is first. And I literally have to put date night on the calendar. Because my default is I'm thinking, because I'm driven, I'm thinking about growing and accomplishing and doing these things. I literally have to put those things on the calendar to ensure that they get done right. And Daniel, you said you put your Bible on the coffee table. So you don't have to think and remember to read your Bible. It's right there where you're going to trip over and you're going to see it. Mm-hmm. We have to make it easy to do the right things, especially the most important things. Put it on the calendar. Put it on the coffee table. Yeah.
You helped me just remind myself to do date night with my wife. So I just texted her, let's do this.
Put it on the calendar, send her an invite. Hey, we got Julio's with us. Chris Bross is with us. Carol Ramos is with us. Hey guys, thanks for joining in.
like you said, Jason, I think you touched on something too, where we have the right intentions, and too often we're talking of all these new things, and you're rattling around in my brain today while I'm driving, and it's like, don't open up your mouth and spew all of this stuff, because like you said, you're just going to discredit your credibility, because your team's going to go, oh, it's just one of those things. He's coming up with all these ideas again. Like, instead of me even sharing it, I'm going to write it down, and then I'm just going to execute it. Instead of having to share all these lofty things that I'm going to do, all you do is you're tearing your credibility down in front of your team. And instead, you have the right intentions. That's the thing. Like you touched on that. We're all great people. We want to do the right thing. Just sometimes just the power of your tongue, just bite it, jot it down, and execute.
And a lot of times along those lines is something similar. Sometimes as leaders, we get so far out into the future that our people can't even keep up with our taillights, and they're gonna get disillusioned if we keep moving and introducing new ideas. Sometimes we just need to stop with the new ideas, the new great ideas, and we just need to execute on the ideas we already have. And in our businesses, there's this combination. We have to be leaders, but we have to be managers. Leaders love change, and they love to think about change and improvement, but it's the managers that make sure that we stay on track and that we get the work done day by day, and that we follow the process, right?
Yep.
And so we need both of those in our companies. And when we have a small company, we have to wear both of those hats as leaders and managers, and we call that leadagers. I know it's a silly word, but we call it leadagers, and that's literally what we call our chat at for Phillips Home Improvement is called leadagers, not managers, not leadagers. It's leadagers. Because they're having to lead and manage. Some people are better at the leading part, and some people are better at the managing part. But if you're a department leader, you need both. And if you're a business owner, you need both. So it's a beautiful thing. Love building a business. But now you guys see that we are building the people that are building the business. And when we start growing our business, we don't need to be the best at sales, the best at this or the best at that. We don't need to be the hero. We need to raise up the hero and let them be the hero and give them the glory. And because great leaders, we know this, great leaders are gonna take more than their fair share of the blame and less than their fair share of the credit. That's what great leaders do. But weak leaders or what's the word I'm looking for? Not weak leadership, but vulnerable leaders that aren't confident. I can't think of the word, but they always have to be the hero in their company. They have to be the problem solver. They have to be the Superman because they feel less than. There's my word. Insecure leadership does that. Secure and confident leadership says, you know what? I need someone better than me in this role. I need someone better than me in that role, and someone better than me in that role, and I need to lead them. That's what I need to do. Yeah, indeed.
That's true.
So we got Ryan is with us, and he says, are there times where we can be great leaders in family and work, but it still falls apart? Well, of course. Yeah, there can be, but you know what? You've got way better chances when you're a great leader than when you're a bad leader. That's the bottom line. There's no guarantee.
Right?
Yeah, Joe said something about just like you're going into uncharted territory. You're naturally, like the imposter syndrome or whatever, you're naturally going to fail, or you're naturally going to mess it up. Why? You've never done this before. That's new. And it was just relaxing to hear, okay, not alone with it. It's something you already kind of know, but it was just great to hear, like, it's okay.
Yeah, we should be failing, because if we're not failing, then we're staying in our comfort zone.
You're not growing.
I had an issue as a leader very recently, right? So my superpower that I consider superpower is connecting with people and creating a vision and getting people to follow me. And that came naturally. So it created a false sense of security with my leadership. And what happened for me to get a little bit of clarity on it was I saw a pattern from my first project consultant to my second one. And when I realized they were having the same errors, the same mistakes within themselves, the same thing going on. They weren't taking ownership. They were making over mistakes. They were starting to fail. But it was in the same way. I realized that it wasn't them, it was me. This is only two people, right? So I realized it was me. And what was happening was maybe their hearts weren't checked out of me, but their minds checked out of the position. So when you start having people check out, it's a slow burn. And
Mm-hmm.
thankfully I was able to save it because I recognized it. And leadership has many forms, right? Getting someone to buy into your vision is beautiful, but can you help them fulfill that vision? Can you help them push and become better? How is that? I want to share a win for this week. I didn't lose my patience one time, and I don't think I'll ever lose it again. And I asked
Dude,
you,
that's
I
hard to
asked you,
hold
I
on,
said,
bro.
how
Hold
do you
on, bro.
do
That's
that?
some serious growth. If that's
And
true, that's some serious
yeah,
growth.
no, but you spoke to me in a way. You were like, I was like, Jason, like, how do you not lose your patience? He was like, bro, like, well, look at it this way. You don't get results if you lose your patience. It's like, you spoke my language, right? I'm like, oh, I
That's
like
true.
results. That's easy.
Yeah,
I'm never losing my
yeah,
patience again.
yeah.
And I
Well,
didn't lose it this week. And I haven't even gotten close to losing it this week because I understand that my team doesn't need me to lose my patience. My team needs me to push them and sometimes baby them a little bit. Sometimes I have to come down and be a little bit charismatic or sentimental or patient, right? Hold them accountable. Don't be a weak leader, but
That's
man,
situational,
let's
and
not
that's
be let's
adapting.
not
Yeah,
be let's not be a rock, right? So that was
yeah.
great.
Man, that's an incredible insight there. And so that's
so
one
I
of
will
the
add,
things that one sec, Angel. One of the things that you'll see great leaders are very self-aware of their own strengths, their own weaknesses, and their own emotions. And they can also pick up on the emotions of the other people. That's the emotional intelligence piece of it. And so, yeah, when we can start adapting and knowing who we need to be in this situation.
I bought this
Ah,
book
yeah, there you
after.
go. Yeah, there it
I literally
is.
bought this book on the
Awesome.
flight home.
Sweet. Angel, you were going to pipe in.
so I was gonna say, Humberto, you remember with when Jason said the right people turn your vision into reality,
Absolutely.
It's true.
and that and it's so true. Like your patience and I a lot of the time in the trip I spoke with Daniel and Humberto a lot of things, in our company. And sometimes you feel like, hey, you're alone. And you're not. It doesn't matter how. Even to Jason, I went to spoke to you, Jason, and matter of fact, it still doesn't cover that I don't like how you answer my questions. Um,
So,
But
Berto, you said something to me at the retreat. You're like, Jason, we should do 2 of these a year. And
Come on, man.
so we'll. I don't know. I can't promise that. But for any of you guys that are watching right now, the next one will for sure be in January of 2027. Now you don't have to wait till then to get involved. We've got a management boot camp coming up in May, and we have a sales boot camp, which isn't going to touch on necessarily leadership, but there's all of these areas where we can grow, and when we systemize, we build up other people, we put in systems. We're gonna build a better future and a bigger future for our teams and our families. And it's amazing what we get to build. We're architects of the future. We are architects of the future, and let's not build a future by accident. Let's build a future by purpose. Let's be intentional. Let's know what we're building. Let's learn best practices instead of trying to, start over and figure it out and keep repeating. If we don't grow as a leader and we don't learn, we're just going to repeat the same year over and over and over. That's no fun. You know what's fun? Progress is fun. And going through the pain is not always fun. But once you're through the pain, you've learned the lesson, and you can you can reach higher and add more value, man, it's so much better. And guys, I know we're on overtime here, but let's just have a closing thought from each of you. Daniel, then Angel, then Berto. Let's just have a closing thought, and then I'll close this out. What would you say? Here's your closing thought. What would you say to the people who are on here or going to see this in the future about should they take the time to come to a leadership retreat when they already feel like they're in the fire, they don't have the money, they don't have the time to come to the leadership retreat? What would you say they should do?
Don't come, so that way I can talk with all of you a little bit more and spend more time with you guys. I'm really grateful it was a smaller group because, we had it was just a smaller size. It was just perfect, like intense. I hear the last year was a little bit larger.
Yep.
So don't come. That's my advice. No. Yeah, because I want to go again a lot. It was great for the family. So definitely go. Obviously, I want everybody to grow because you get to meet all these kinds of people like this, and you get to pour in. You get to meet new friends in the industry. A lot of people go to the expo, and it's a time to drink and just kind of get away. Not saying that's all what the expo is for. When I went to the expo, PCA Expo, it was to literally find a community like this, where it was just, we all want to grow tremendously, and we don't want to just take some shots of tequila on the catamaran while looking at. Never mind.
Let's go.
So yeah, great. The Spider-Man quote. I'll end with this: "A great power comes great responsibility."
That's right.
You gotta risk it for your team because you have a lot of responsibility at hand. That's what I'll say in close.
That's right. That's good. That's a good word. Angel?
Well, that was good, Dana. I would say use your American Express card. To pay for the ticket. I would say, hey, it takes money to make money, man. And we're not an event that hey, I have more than you, and flashing the van and showing out Rolexes like Jason does in the dinner. That was definitely me.
What did you say? What did I do during the dinner?
Showing your Rolexes and stuff.
Oh no, yeah, no, I don't own any Rolexes. That's you.
I was gonna say, hey, we're not like that community. Like
No.
you're not gonna come here and they brag things and have a drink and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with it. I respect. I done it and I do it a couple of times. That's okay. But what I'm about to say, it's I mean it. I have been many communities and many friends and stuff like that. We just want to help people here, and that's everyone. I can sense it, and like these guys. Hey Daniel, how many times did we chat before the event?
Never.
Maybe in the event, and
Mhm.
I got to spend a lot of time with and I got to spend a lot of time with him, and he gave me a lot of valuable things. And Humberto and Jason, it definitely it takes money to make money, but also it makes an effort, and so start the right way, so you will not. I don't want anybody to lose their families out there, and that is weak leadership. So I'll recommend you to come and talk about that as well. Not just your business, not just your money, not just where you want to go, but just have some, Jason won't allow me to curse, but just have some, the two of those you have hanging and come to the event, man, make it strong.
Just
Don't
have
listen.
some blinking advice.
Have some.
We don't need to talk about that. We could leave that in Mexico. Berto, what would you say to someone who's on the fence?
Okay. So,
Famous.
well, to chime in, right? You're looking at an all-inclusive resort in Mexico. Who doesn't want that? So, okay. But regardless, you start your day by learning and growing what we all as business owners dream to do. So we're placed in an environment to learn and grow. and then you get to spend a day with new people that you just met with like minds, and you have an amazing time. Those things aside, right? PCA, great. You go there and you're connecting with people about business and growth, or you go to maybe a event like PainCon and you're looking at new systems and new coaches and you're talking and you're getting to meet people, or you go to a sales boot camp with Jason and you're working on sales. This is hours upon hours with the full intent to solely focus on leadership in an environment that clears your mind and connects you with other people that have the same intention behind the leadership. So you're spending hours on hours with the sole intent on leadership, and you come back and you carry that. Not only that, when you come back and you have those moments of clarity and you start seeing the results, it becomes addicting. And we all know this, or we should know this, right? If you haven't learned it yet, the law of the lid. Everything rises and falls on leadership, and you must grow as a leader for other people to follow you. And guess
That's
what?
right.
It helps your pockets too. So that's a bonus.
That's right.
Amen.
Well said, Berto. Well said.
Kyle's
Kyle, I
here.
didn't see you. Kyle, I think you dropped out for a minute, and I didn't see you backstage first. So I'm sorry I didn't get you soon enough. But
Great.
But
Back again.
Kyle, what would you say? What would you say to someone who's on the fence? Hey, should I go to the leadership retreat? Is it worth me taking my time away from my company, away from my family? You know, should I bring my wife? You know, what would you say?
Oh man, so I have been to a lot of business conferences over the years, a lot, and the ones that have always been the most impactful to me and the most inspiring and motivating and transforming are the Contractor Freedom events. And I leave all of them, and my team fears me because I come back and it's like, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, we're doing that, and it's like I come in with so much adrenaline and just passion. But you know, this one was a little bit different. Yes, I left motivated more than ever, but this one was more of a self-reflection. And like Daniel had mentioned earlier, what's limiting your business? It's you.
Yeah.
You are the limiting factor on your business.
That's right.
So
That's right.
in order to not do that, you need to grow as a leader. And this, at the end of this conference, yes, it was motivating, but it was like I took a big inhale and then I exhaled. And I was like, wow, I have a lot of internal change that I need to do. This was a lot of in the SOS framework, this was all the self.
That's
This was
right.
all the self that I really needed to hear. And I came back and there's a lot of things that I want to improve in clarity, and all the inner, workings of accountability with myself and everything. All of your events are well worth the dollar amount. It costs way more not to go than it is to go. Like you say that all the time, and I'm a firm believer of it. But I'm going to end on this quote because I highlighted it and I circled it 18 times in your book, and I'm a man of faith. So this quote says, "Why would God entrust greater responsibility to someone who isn't ready?" We have to grow to steward more. When I read that, like a little tear jerked up in my eye, and I was like I was sit there, I highlighted it, and I was like, that's more than just a highlight. That's a grab your pen and make this page a point of emphasis.
Wow.
So I'll end on that note. Yeah, this event was
Wow.
great. Thank you, and Rochelle and Joe, as always, for putting on these events for us. And I just can't wait to keep coming. Like, I'm not gonna ever stop. I'm constantly in it. I'm in it to win it. So thank you guys.
Thank you for sharing that, man. Hey, by the way, speaking of Joe, 2 weeks from tonight, he and I are going to do another live stream with some leadership insights. As a matter of fact, 1 week from tonight, Rochelle is going to host a live stream with your ladies. And so I'm curious to see how that, what they say there. So if you want your ladies to connect with your vision, if you want to really connect with her and grow as a leader, trust me, it will be worth your time. And look, we spend money on business events, we spend money on systems, we spend money on marketing, but I guarantee you this, there is no better investment that you will ever make than investing in yourself. Kind of like what Kyle said. This was a reflective time, a time to do inner work, working on self. We're not working on other people, we're working on self. And I promise you, the best investment of money and time and energy that you will ever make is going to be when you invest in yourself so that you can grow. And I just want to bless everybody. And Daniel, Angel, Humberto, Kyle, man, thank you guys for taking time out of your evenings to hop on this live stream. Man, I'm honored to work with each of you. I want to tell you this, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you because you guys said some really humbling things and you faced some hard truths, and that's what leaders do. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad I get to be a part of your story. So for everybody that's watching right now, I just want to bless you. If you have any leadership questions or whatever, connect with me. Feel free to connect with one of these guys, and we're here to help. We're here to serve this community. So God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you back here, especially the ladies, next Thursday, same time, same channel. All right, bye-bye.